Ah.
Alrighty.
Oh man.
I think I'm gonna fade out of this song. I almost just said October, November 16th, 2022. It's 7 a.m. Good morning, everyone. And I'm Leslie Gallagher here with Jake Goetz,
Good morning.
Cassie Faria, howdy, Alex Braun,
What's up?
and Aidan Ivers.
Good
So
morning.
today for our show, we've got a great show for you today. We're talking about Trump's return, MSU Student Government Association election, a Taylor Swift concert, little Ticketmaster scandal, and don't go anywhere because we have an interview later with Professor Mark Clatterbuck to talk about Native American Heritage Months. But before we can get to all of that, here is a newscast with Aidan Ivers.
Thank you, Leslie. Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure.
Oh man.
Hold on one second. Before we get to that newscast, we will just kidding. We're all ready. Sorry about that. Aidan, take it away.
Can you hear me okay, Leslie?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Good morning, listeners of 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. My name's Aidan Ivers, and we have some pretty interesting news to get through before our show begins. So, according to apnews.com, this is a little bit of a double-edged article because we're pulling from two different ones. According to AP News, President Biden said today at a meeting with NATO leaders in Indonesia that the missile that killed two Polish people near the Ukrainian border was unlikely to come from Russia. And he was correct because according to theguardian.com, the missile that killed two Polish people was an accident with Ukrainian air defense. So that's a pretty unfortunate situation, and hopefully things go well with what they're doing. That's a really unfortunate accident. And according to CNN.com, as Thanksgiving approaches, we're one week away, guys. Walmart is projected to be the most affordable supermarket to buy all the necessities from for the big meal and for the big day for people's families. According to the stock market, Walmart's stock was up 6% yesterday. And last quarter, Walmart's U.S. sales growth for stores open for at least 1 year was at 8.2%. So listeners, if you have to do that last minute Thanksgiving shopping, you might want to check out Walmart, maybe, if you want to get those affordable prices. And in New Jersey News 12 news, a unanimous vote from state officials under the New Jersey Fish and Game Commission has paved the way to reactivate the black bear hunt in the Garden State. This comes just a week after Governor Phil Murphy reversed his campaign promise to eliminate the hunt entirely. And according to Montclair Local, the Township of Montclair voted to hire the law firm Lindaberry, McCormick, Easterbrook, and Cooper to further investigate the hostile work environment and gender discrimination lawsuit filed against Township Manager Timothy Stafford while he is on administrative leave. And for weather, guys, I think it's safe to say that the summer is sound asleep because it's pretty freezing outside and it's also wet, which is, depending on who you are, that could be a good combination or it could not be. But today, we're going to have a high of 50 degrees and a low of 30 with mostly cloudy skies. And wind gusts is going to be 10 to 15 miles per hour. So, listeners, if you can see what I have on right now, I got my scarf. I feel like Maxwell Jacob Friedman. It's going to be cold out. So if you want to make sure you want to be warm, make sure to bundle up. And this has been your hour one news and weather forecast here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Back to you, Leslie.
Thank you so much, Aidan. I know I've got my hat, scarves, gloves out lately as it's getting colder. So I'm right there with you. Although I'm not wearing it in studio because I'm pretty toasty in here. But without further ado, here's a sportscast with Alex Braun.
Sports! We got sports today. We got great sports. For the NHL, last night, the New Jersey Devils beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-1, making this their 10th win in a row. And the New York Rangers will fight off the Kraken tomorrow as they face the Seattle Kraken at 7:30. And for the NBA, the New York Knicks beat the Utah Jazz 118 to 111, and the Brooklyn Nets got crushed by the Sacramento Kings 153 to 121. The Montclair State women's soccer team fell to number 3 Christopher Newport 2-0 in the second round of the NCAA tournament this Sunday. Congratulations to a great season, though. And the Montclair State men's basketball team scored 55 in the first points en route to their 93-97 triumph over Ithaca College this Friday. And the Red Hawks will be on the road on Wednesday to face Marywood at 6 p.m. I've been Alex, and this has been Sports.
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 Thanks, Alex.
You're welcome.
Moving on to our stories of the day for the morning buzz. Again, we're around 7:05 a.m. Wow, it's so bright and early. Actually, it's not bright. It's just early. But yeah. Our first story, deadly blast in Poland, likely an accident, Warsaw says. According to the New York Times, Poland's president said that today it appears that a Ukrainian air defense missile most likely unintentionally caused a deadly explosion on its territory a day earlier. President Duda noted that Russian forces had launched a barrage of missile strikes on Ukraine yesterday. He said that early indications suggested that Ukrainian efforts to counter the barrage had caused a, quote, unfortunate accident in Poland, not a direct attack on his country. Mr. Duda told reporters, quote, "We have no evidence at the moment that it was a rocket launched by Russian forces. However, there are many indications that it was a missile that was used by Ukraine's anti-missile defense," end quote. His remarks echoed those of Western officials who said earlier that the explosion was likely caused by a Ukrainian anti-aircraft missile trying to knock out an incoming Russian missile. As NATO ambassadors met to discuss yesterday's events, the officials emphasized that an investigation was ongoing, but they said that as more evidence emerged, it seemed likely that the missile hit was errant, not aimed at Poland. Ukraine's foreign minister has denied that one of their missiles was involved in the explosion, which President Volodymyr Zelensky has called an escalation by Russia. Russia has denied involvement and says that it did not aim any missiles at the border with Poland yesterday. Wow. Yeah. So Aidan briefly did talk about this in his newscast, but that is a little more extensive coverage.
Yeah, and I think going off of that, Leslie, a lot of nations have access to these things, and it's as regular people, we're like, we can say, okay, well, what can we do about this? And then we can't do anything really, because that's something really out of our control. It's really unfortunate. And it's not fun to think about when these things happen, especially on accident. Missile attack on, not a missile accident, which would cause irreversible tragedies, which is really unfortunate.
It's really scary to think that accidents like this big can happen, right?
Yeah.
And, affect
Well,
people.
I guess in this situation, Leslie, I think it's good to know that where it actually came from, because if this could
no, that's really important actually. Like,
because like misinformation could spread really quickly, like online, about where it came from, which could stir up a lot of unnecessary, anxiety.
It's tough to. I mean, I feel like some speculation there is just unavoidable at that point when you hear that there were explosions in this territory that is not engaged with the war. That's of course going to prompt speculation, especially when information is not available. But I think it was cool that I don't know, I guess media picked up on it and they were able to identify stuff, because just I know when I heard that there was explosions in Poland, I was like,
it's very alarming to hear.
I was gonna say it's an irreversible tragedy, but I think we all held our breath for the last 24 hours about this situation.
Yeah. My sister told me last night, and my heart was like, are you kidding me? But obviously knowing that ongoing investigations are still happening, it's really important to keep in mind.
And especially to figure out, how accidental things like this are caused,
hopefully
for further prevention, because accidents like this can, be prevented.
If somebody's in the military,
Mhm.
training to work these things their entire lives. That probably shouldn't be happening. Like with
Probably not.
with weapons of mass destruction.
Unfortunately, none of this should be happening. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna segue back to some more national news. Bringing it back to America. Jake, take it away.
yeah, so this guy, Donald Trump, seeks White House again amid GOP losses. That's been subject to some legal speculation. So the President Donald Trump launched his third campaign for the White House just 1 week after a disappointing midterm showing for Republicans. There were expectations of a red waves, but it didn't happen. And a lot of people blame Trump for it. So this kind of forces the party to decide whether to embrace a candidate whose refusal to accept defeat in 2020 sparked an insurrection and pushed American democracy to the brink. Trump said to an audience of several hundred reporters, quote, "In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for president of the United States. America's comeback starts right now," end quote. At this point in time, he formally began the 2024 Republican primary. Another campaign is a remarkable turn for any former president, much less one who made history as the first to be impeached twice and whose term ended with his supporters violently supporting the Capitol in a deadly bid to, you know that part.
Yeah, they were all familiar with what happened January 6th, which
Yeah, so
I don't even know if we should get into that.
I'm really excited for all the memes that are gonna come out of this. I think for all the the bright side here is it's gonna be it's so bad. It's bad for I mean, I don't know. It might honestly be good because, well, I don't know. What
you mean like his comeback will be bad? Or like his running again.
I think it could be bad. I think it depends like where you stand, but like I think it could be bad for the GOP.
Any opinions expressed here on the Morning Buzz on WMSC is reflective of.
This isn't even an opinion.
Not
it's
even.
just
I'm just saying before we get into the opinions.
I'm not saying my opinion. I'm a news boy.
Right.
No, but like I think anyone could tell you that this is going to be pretty bad for the GOP. Because this split between Trump and DeSantis as party leader, do we move on? Do we stay with Trump or do we move on? Can we move on? Because I don't think it's that crazy to say that like Donald Trump is kind of the subject of a cult, and can you just like shift focus? They're certainly trying. Like I've seen like conservative commentators, one by one, they're all just kind of saying, yeah, Trump's not that cool anymore. DeSantis is cool.
I think still a lot of, I don't know. I think a lot of like people in the public still, I think a good amount of people are still loyal to Trump though, and his
it's hard,
ideals.
right? Like how do you just shift like an entire population's focus?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be only if DeSantis runs for president. So like I think if that happens, then the majority of the Republican Party will probably like vote to beat DeSantis, because Trump is gonna be as old as Biden like was when
2024.
When Biden got elected in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna be 78, 76. I don't know about that for sure. But that's a little too old. And
well, as long
but
as you're 35 and above, technically.
seriously hinder anyone's thing.
Yeah, and it's also like with this announcement, it doesn't really matter what person's view is of former President Trump. I think what we could all agree on is when he's on national, like when he's on news cable networks, doesn't matter what channel it is, their ratings go up because they're broadcasting what he has to say, and a lot of what he has to say people can connect to, I guess you could say, in the United States.
It resonates.
And what it really comes down to is what the majority of Americans want to have for who they want to run. So we just have this. I think a good way to sum this up is like we thought the election season was over because midterms were over, and it's just getting started. Getting started, guys.
And speaking of voting and elections, Republicans are now just one short of a House majority. And here's a rundown of where things stand according to NPR.org. Votes are still being scrutinized and tallied as Republicans sit now just one House seat shy of a majority. It's very possible the House will be called for Republicans sometime, with 11 races yet to be decided. It could happen right before or during former president's speech last night. He's widely expected to announce sorry. Yeah, so it did not happen. Sorry about that. We got a little mixed up here on the buzz. But as it stands, Republicans are up to 217 to 207 with 11 uncalled races. If current leads hold, Republicans would wind up with a 221 to 14 majority. Most of the remaining vote is in California, where tabulations continue to trickle in slowly. 8 of the undecided races are in California. There are 2 seats where 2 Democrats are competing against each other because of California's top 2 primary system. One is in Colorado, and the other 2 elections are headed to ranked choice retaliations in Maine and Alaska. Results in Maine are expected today, and Alaska will conduct its retabulation November 23rd. So yeah, that's where we stand. Was that a groan from Aidan?
Well, I remember I
Good.
yeah,
Reminiscent.
I remember, in the year 2020 when we were in the same situation, right? With election day being over and some races yet to be called. I saw something on Instagram. It was a meme. It was from, remember that show Chowder from Cartoon Network?
Yes.
Love chowder.
It was a meme where the caption just said Nevada, and it was a character from Chowder with the gold, with the bag of gold, and he was counting it. He was putting it in the piggy bank. He's like, "All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3," and he was going really slow. And that's what we have right here, basically, in all these different states.
Yeah. When that one from Alaska was like, "Oh, November 23rd."
Yeah,
I'm like,
Well,
okay.
taking a sweet time.
yeah, it was November 16th right now, and the election was
It's cold
last
there.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
too
for letting
cold.
me
Their
know,
fingers are
but-
so cold it's hard to count.
So aren't they in like
They're
an
slow down.
eternal darkness right now?
Yeah.
No, the sun barely goes down, Alex. Right?
No, the sun is completely dark up there right now.
The sun is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no sun right now.
Yeah.
Huh?
It happens. Sometimes there's just no sun. All right.
And they have to do it by candlelight. I don't know.
That's actually a funny.
All I gotta say is red wave, nah, more like red splash.
Ooh, that was our producer, Larry Zaccardi.
Um,
Hi. You had to say
Incredible.
that. Of course. Well, anyways, we are gonna take a quick break here on the Morning Buzz. We'll be back in a few minutes, and when we come back, we will be joined by Professor Mark Clatterbuck. We're gonna be talking about Native American Heritage Month. So please stay tuned and stick around because we will be having a good time with the professor. Anyways, here's our quick break. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz.
Good morning.
It's Wednesday, November 16th. It's 7:20 a.m.
Sheesh, it's Wednesday.
Sheesh, it's a little early. Again, I'm Leslie Gallagher, joined by Jake Goetz,
Hi.
Cassidy Faria, Alex Braun, and Aidan Ivers. And we'll talk a little more about former President Trump. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not? We never run out of news with him.
No.
So
Yeah, right. As we mentioned before, Mr. Trump did indeed he's running for president in 2024. If you didn't catch that story, that happened. And he announced that in a speech. That's normally how you announce things. And in that speech, he made some statements, and we're gonna like some people have gone over those statements, and we're gonna be some people right now.
CNN to be specific.
Yeah, CNN did the work. We're just saying it. Former President Donald Trump began his 2024 presidential campaign just as he ended his president in 2021 with a whole lot of inaccuracy. Like many of Trump's speeches as a president, his announcement speech in Florida was there was identified false and misleading claims about a variety of topics, from his record in office to his Democratic opponents, to the economy, the environment, and foreign policy. And here's a general fact check of the things he said at Mar-a-Lago. As he has on other occasions during Biden's tenure, Trump used misleading figures when discussing the price of gas. He said, quote, "We were $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now it's sitting $5, $6, $7, $8, and it's gonna go really bad," end quote. This is misleading. While the price of a gallon of regular gas did briefly fall to around $1.87, and lower during the depths of COVID-19 pandemic, the national average for regular gas in Trump's last day in office was much higher than that, $2.39 per gallon. And also complaining about how he is under criminal investigation for taking presidential documents to his Florida home and resort, Trump repeated a debunked claim about former President Barack Obama's handling of presidential documents, which are, like I said, debunked, as the National Archives and Records Administration point out in August, when Trump previously made this claim. Though Trump claimed that Obama had taken millions of records to Chicago, NARA explained in a public statement that it had itself taken these records to a NARA-managed facility in the Chicago area. And yeah, so those are two fact checks on Mr. Trump.
I think it's interesting how he because it's not like he used wrong statistics in the sense of yes, it was $1.87 at some point, but he's clearly using that in this statement to make it seem like that's a norm,
right?
But it's not the average. So it's you're not wrong, but you're not right.
Yeah, in that case, it's
very
cherry picking, right? And I mean, it is a lie, right? If it you can't just say that this is how it was in my presidency for 2 seconds, or I don't know how long, but for this amount of time, and then it fluctuated a lot from there. But yeah, no, it is tantamount to a lie. And
also when he's now it's sitting at 5, 6, 7, 8, that's obviously
right. It's
making it sound like it's going up when it's just he gave a
yeah.
straight number. It's a lot more straightforward, right? So yeah,
I feel like if he still would have said 239, people would have been yeah, it was 239. Now it's $4.
Yeah, because 239 to a jump of when it was at its highest, at least in New Jersey, still would have made a point statistically. It doesn't need to be skewed or misconstrued or anything. It's just not necessary.
Yeah. And Leslie, I think the number one way to sum this up is that most of the people on Staten Island really enjoyed the speech last night.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's funny. It's hard to say, right? I saw an interesting clip from where he gave the speech, and it was a lot of people who were actually there in his audience like by the exits trying to leave, but security wouldn't let them. They wouldn't let him leave before they stopped talking.
Oh my God.
I don't know. This is what I've seen. So like I don't know. I thought that was really funny. It seems like people are getting bored of listening to President Trump just kind of stumble on his words.
I think some people are. I mean, you know, you can only hear one person talk for so much, I guess.
Right.
But, you know, he's been a public figure for quite some time. We are going to take a short break. And as promised before, when we come back, we will be doing an interview with Professor Mark Clatterbuck to talk about Native American Heritage Month. We'll be right back on The Morning Buzz. Good morning. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz, the Wednesday edition. It's Wednesday, November 16th at 7:33 a.m., and we have a special guest today. Before I introduce him, just remind you, I'm Lizzie Gallagher here with Jake Goetz.
Hi.
And our special guest is Professor Mark Clatterbuck, who teaches he's a professor of religion here at Montclair State. He's also the author of Demons, Saints, and Patriots, Catholic Visions of Native America. And we're going to be talking about Native American Heritage Month, which is in the month of November. So, Professor, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much, Leslie. I'm doing all right.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to talk with you today. First off, I'd like to start off with what makes Native American Heritage Month important, and how can we recognize it and or celebrate it?
Sure. Well, I was thinking with it being Native American Heritage Month and talking about our new Native American Studies program here at Montclair State, I was wondering if I could start off by reading our university's new Native Land Acknowledgement Statement, just to kick things off and get us talking.
That sounds great. Go for it.
All right. So this was a statement that was adopted by the University Senate of Montclair State, and then also by the president, Jonathan Capel, just earlier this year. And it goes like this: we respectfully acknowledge that Montclair State University occupies land in Lenape-Hoking, the traditional territory of the Lenape. As a state institution, we recognize and support the sovereignty of New Jersey's 3 state-recognized tribes: the Ramapo Lenape, the Nanticoke Lenni Lenape, and the Powhatan Lenape nations. We recognize the sovereign nations of the Lenape diaspora elsewhere in North America, as well as other indigenous individuals and communities now residing in New Jersey. We commit to addressing the legacies of indigenous dispossession and to dismantling practices of erasure that persist today. We embrace the resilience, persistence, and richness of contemporary indigenous communities and their role in educating all of us about justice, equity, and the stewardship of land throughout the generations. And I think, some of the themes in that statement are really, I think, highlight the importance of Native American Heritage Month when it comes to questions of, erasure and really grappling with the history of our nation. I think thanks in no small part to the Black Lives Matter movement, we're really at a place where we're starting to wrestle more seriously with some of the painful truths of our national narrative, of our national history, that the U.S. is a settler colonial nation. It's built on stolen land and stolen labor, with the twin sins of slavery of African Americans, but also Native dispossession and genocidal policies that this country had toward indigenous people. And so I think, in really kind of wrestling with that history, it's not about guilt or blame. It's more about just truth and justice, and kind of taking responsibility for our past,
right.
And being intentional about the kind of future, that we want to make together.
Yeah, I really like how you said that. It's about truth and justice, and not guilt and blame. I resonate with that. And I guess going back to that question before the statement of, I guess we can of course recognize it, but I guess if I don't know if it's something that people really celebrate, but I guess how do you maybe personally make awareness about it and connect with it, and I know make it something that is important in your life and spread it to other people as well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Native American Heritage Month is really kind of what got our program started, our new program, our minor in Native American and Indigenous Studies that we just launched this semester. It was about, I guess it was about 8 years ago now that there were 3 of us, 3 faculty, myself, Chris Matthews in anthropology, and Elspeth Martini in history, who all teach Native American studies in our respective disciplines. Myself in religion, Dr. Matthews in history and Dr. Martini or anthropology and Dr. Martini in history. And we realized that there was really no programming at all at Montclair State University around Native American Heritage Month or dealing intentionally with exploring Indigenous issues. And so I guess it was either in 2014 or 2015 that the three of us started coordinating together and planning an annual event here at Montclair State University during Native American Heritage Month. And we decided to really focus it on issues that were specifically relevant to Native communities here in New Jersey. And so one of our earliest programs that we had here on campus really looked at this issue of there are three state recognized tribes in New Jersey. There's like I said, the Nanticoke, Lenni Lenape, the Ramapo Lenape, and then also the Powhatan Lenape nations. And during the Chris Christie administration several years ago, the state recognition status of those three tribes were actually stripped. They lost their state recognition, and it's a long story, but it was politically motivated. And so the tribes actually had to file a lawsuit that lasted for several years to regain their state recognition. So, talk about erasure, a history of erasure. This is happening in the present time, in a very active way. And so we ran a program where we invited members of the tribal community, tribal leaders from the Nanticoke tribe to come, and also their legal team, and share with us like what's going on here. How did that happen? And that was really the first of our series, annual series, talking about Native issues and it happened during Native American Heritage Month. And eventually we decided, look, we need to do more than just have one event once a year, during this month, that we really should develop a program to look more in a more focused way and bring together the work that each of us did and that other faculty are doing, and give students an opportunity to develop a program of study around Indigenous issues and think about careers, that would affect then Native communities.
Absolutely. And I was also gonna say, like, it's so much information and history that can't possibly, be in an event once a year. And it's really great that you've developed a minor for that. So I was going to ask that, since going back to the minor, because it's a huge step, what are classes that are being offered for the new minor, and if you're teaching any?
Sure. Yeah. So so the minor, it's 18 credits total. And there were two new courses that we've developed specifically for the minor. And it's Native American and Indigenous Studies. So the prefix is NAIS. So we have NAIS 101, which is really just basically an introduction to Indigenous studies. And really the focus of Indigenous studies, the key is to center Native voices. Like I said, there's such a there's been such a history of basically invisibility that Indigenous people just aren't seen by non-Native people. There's 574 federally recognized tribes in this country today, and 63 state recognized tribes, 3 of them right here in New Jersey. And yet they're really invisible to a lot of Native Americans, or a lot of non-Native people speak of Indigenous people, refer to them in the past tense, like we talk about. And I mean, I grew up with this, right, in schools still today. We talk about like the time of cowboys and Indians or something.
Like they used to be here. Like,
yeah. And I think, well, there was a report just a couple of years back by the National Congress of American Indian and some other groups that studied how Native history is taught in U.S. schools. And it found that something like 87% of state history standards make no mention of Native Americans after the year 1900, right? So we even teach it that way, right? Like it's Native people they're like people who used to live here, who used to have this land, instead of, no, they're still here and that land is still theirs. And I think there were something like 25 or 30 states that had no mention of a single Native American in their K through 12 curriculum. So anyway, so our NAIS 101 really tries to address some of that history and center the voices of Native people today, and looking at issues around Native survivance and thriving and survival. So, and Dr. Elspeth Martini, she's actually teaching that course right now. And we'll probably teach that every fall. And then the other new course that we added was on the other end of the program, and that's NAIS 401, and it's a seminar. And that's a class that I'll be teaching in the spring for the first time. And basically the point of that class is we're going to partner with the tribal community in New Jersey. This time it'll be the Turtle Clan Ramapo, and work with Chief Vincent Mann, who is the Turtle Clan chief. And we'll be working on issues specific to their community around environmental justice, and it'll be very hands-on. It'll involve a lot of field work. And then in addition to those two classes on either end of the program, students will have to take just 4 other courses and that already exist that deal with Native issues. And they're scattered across history and anthropology and religion and English and the arts, visual arts. So there are a number of courses that students can choose from, and they can just check that out on the Native American and Indigenous Studies website.
No, that's really cool. And it does really speak to like, I guess like the wide range of like what a culture entails. It's like, it's history, art, all of it. I'm kind of wondering, since, lots of, in like kind of interest of bringing out Native American voices, are there any writers that Native American writers that you wish were more widely known?
Sure. Yeah, I think I mean there's some that are kind of the standard voices, and some that are newer. Just yesterday in a class that I teach on Native American religions, 2 writers who've been really influential for me. One is Vine Deloria Jr., who's a Lakota author who he died a number of years ago, the turn of the century. And we were reading from a book of his. It's called Custer Died for Your Sins, an Indian Manifesto. And
that's an electric
really just a really important sort of foundational voice in contemporary thinking about Indigenous issues, Indigenous people. And the article we were reading, and it's called an Indian Manifesto, where he really explores so many of the ways that non-Native culture has engaged Indigenous people. And we were reading an essay about the way missionaries have created this religious vacuum in Indian territory, but just thinking about the way that even the missionary legacy among Indigenous people has perpetuated that process of erasure and colonialism. Another writer that's really been important to me is George Tinker. He's an Osage Cherokee writer, and the work that I do a lot of work with really the ongoing legacy of Christian missionary presence among Indigenous communities in the field of religious studies. And George Tinker really explores that. He has a book called Missionary Conquest, and looks at the way that that missionaries, despite being maybe well-intentioned, have really participated in cultural genocide of Indigenous people. But there's Leslie Marmon Silko is an author. She's a contemporary author. She's Laguna Pueblo and Mexican and white, mixed race author who her book Ceremony, a novel Ceremony, kind of really put her on the map. But she's one of the most important Native authors writing today. So yeah, I think you're right to ask that question, because there are so many Native voices that for so long have not been included, kind of like in the canon of American literature, that more and more are being included.
No, yeah, and I think it's just like a really great way to like engage with like another culture and like, I don't know, gain such like a deeper understanding and to like really hear those voices.
Yeah. There's another author. His name is Tommy Orange, who wrote his first novel called There, and he's a younger contemporary native author, and he really explores like indigenous native like urban life. So like sort of life off the reservation, which the vast majority of native people in this country aren't on reservations anymore. They're really in the U.S. cities. And he explores that. That's another great book to read.
We want to thank you again so much for coming on the Morning Buzz, Professor Clatterbuck. But before you go, I was wondering, where can MSU students find more about the program and the minor and these classes, and perhaps who should they contact so they know how to learn more about it?
Sure. Yeah. If you just go on the MSU website, you can search Native American and Indigenous Studies. The program, like I said, it's housed between religion, anthropology, and history. But at the moment, it's the website is housed within the religion department website. That's where you can find more about the program. And certainly to contact me, Mark Clatterbuck, in religion, Chris Matthews in anthropology, Elspeth Martini in history, and also Dr. Maisa Taha in anthropology. The four of us are really coordinating the program, and we would love to talk to anybody who's interested. It's just 18 credits, and yeah, we'd love to talk to students about it.
Yeah, minors are very, very easy to do here at Montclair State. 18 credits and you learn so much. So
Absolutely.
Thank you again for providing all that information, coming on the Morning Buzz, and doing the work to make Native American Heritage Month more than a once a year event, and making it something at Montclair State that is, more permanent and more well-rounded. It's really great work that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Hey, it's been my pleasure. Leslie and Jake, thank you so much for having me on. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Once again, everyone, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC up in Montclair. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll be talking about some Montclair State Student Government Association special election news. But until then, we'll see you in a few minutes.
We are Public Disturbances. You're listening to 90.3
Welcome back. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC for Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz. And we're going to be talking about some Montclair State news. But before I get to that, I'm Leslie Gallagher, joined by Jake Goetz, Castia Feria, Aidan Ivers, Alex Braun. Alex, did you know that we are live broadcast to Facebook?
What?
Isn't that amazing? And
It's not true.
We normally have our cameras on so that
Fake
people
news.
on Facebook could see our lovely faces.
Hey.
Why would they want to do that?
That's my nice way of
I
telling
think
you
our
to
voices
put
are
your camera
beautiful.
on.
Oh,
You
that's
didn't get the
why.
hint,
No,
did you?
No, not
I was
at all.
trying to be all smooth on
Oh,
air.
okay.
Didn't work. Well, hi Facebook. Anyways, so
Ooh.
that was funny. Montclair State Student Government Association is holding a special election for a new treasurer. Disclaimer: Cameron Wade is the Montclairian's business manager, but she is not involved in editorial decisions. And this is an article from the Montclair, which makes sense. The Student Government Association here in Montclair, we call them the SGA, is holding a special election for a new treasurer. Happened earlier this week. The former executive treasurer, Deanna, sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Deanna, and Yancy, stepped down from the position due to personal reasons. Only two candidates ran for the position, Jose Morales and Cameron Wade. Each one explained some of the strategies they use to earn people's votes. He also opened up an Instagram account at Jose4, like the number 4, MSU, very clever Jose, that's filled with information on his campaign and policies he'll implement if elected. Morales said, quote, "The school has received backlash over its use of $27 million to invest in an app. At most, app development costs about $70,000. At most recent University Senate meeting, it was announced that $27 million were to be invested in the Workday app." Morales said his past experience in sports management will be useful if he wins the election, and he also wants to push for conscious spending of finances and transparency with the Montclair State student body. Wade explained how her experience will be beneficial if she wins the election. She said, quote, "I also have been a part of leadership for a while now, so I have seen the good and the bad of what's been working well and what hasn't. And I feel like I'd be able to use that and help improve our financial policies, the way we go about our finances, and really just creating a good support system for registered student organizations," end quote. So interesting.
What is the Workday app?
You use that app?
No, I haven't. It's just I don't know what it is.
I don't know either. This is the first I'm hearing about it. But I guess
It's an app.
I guess MSU invested $27 million into it.
What?
It better be good, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, our producer has informed us it's for campus employees. That makes sense
Okay.
because we've never heard of it, and it's called Workday. So
that makes sense.
that makes sense. If it makes the workers on this campus their lives easier, I'm for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you're telling me some commuters have to pay for parking?
A lot.
Most commuters, and a lot of money. And if they mess up once, $50 fine. But they're gonna spend $27 million on an app that only should cost them $70,000, and it's for only the people who work here.
I mean, there are a lot of people who do work in any
Yeah.
university.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the jump from $70,000 to $27 million is like,
It's crazy.
that's kind of a lot, y'all.
Yeah.
A lot of zeros.
Big numbers.
Some big numbers. We're not good at math at the Morning Buzz.
No, this has been proven before.
This has been proven before. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how these elections come out. I think either candidate would be good for SGA, MSU treasurer. Good luck to both Jose and Cameron. You both have
Yeah.
a good stance. I'm
Mhm.
intrigued to see what either of you do. You know, a very important decision of being the treasurer,
Yeah.
the student treasurer. That's a lot of responsibility. I commend them for even running. I understand why only 2 people ran for that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mathing to do.
Yeah, we actually, like the day of President Capel's investiture, we spoke with the SGA and just hearing about all the schedules that they have,
They do so much.
all the responsibilities that they have, and they continuously do it. It was really interesting to talk about and really fulfilling, I guess you could say, because they represent us as like a student body.
Absolutely.
like in our best interest.
And they work directly with people
Yeah,
in charge of things at the university. So they
Yeah.
literally represent the entire like student body.
yeah.
It's
And
pretty crazy.
for our listeners, this is actually what my bracelet says right here. SGA.
Oh, wait,
Woo!
you have an SGA little bracelet?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, really.
They're so cute.
Wear it every day.
Representing the SGA.
It's a nice fashion statement.
It's fashion.
Yeah.
I heard fascist thing.
No, fashion, Alex. Fashion.
Mhm.
Fashion. Anyways, we're gonna move on to some little local Montclair news. Jake, take it away.
Hi. So the state assessments reveal achievement drops across the Montclair school district. Results from the 2020 state assessments show that Montclair students' test scores have fallen compared to 2019 across grade levels and academic disciplines. In certain groups of students, Blacks and Hispanics, those classified as economically disadvantaged, and students in special education programs have seen the largest drops. The Montclair Schools District Department of Equity, Curriculum, and Instruction presented the 2022 New Jersey Student Learning Assessment results yesterday at a Board of Education meeting. They explained that the challenges students faced returning to in-person learning in 2021, disparities in achievement rates, and plans to address the gaps. Declining test scores and learning loss during the pandemic are not unique to Montclair. Students in New Jersey scored significantly lower in reading and math during the pandemic than in the past years, though the state did score higher than the national average. Combined with additional factors, staffing shortages, prioritizing health and safety in schools, students transferring in and out of the district, the 2021-2022 school year was singularly challenging. Yeah.
Just a quick reminder, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Yeah.
Am I?
The morning buzz.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You can't just not go to school for 2 years
It's
and then not expect test scores to drop.
Yeah. Honestly, like I get it. Standardized state assessments.
Yeah, also
those difficult to begin with.
Those are just bad. Like honestly, like
I think we should just get rid of them. But that's just my hot take. I don't think state assessments do anything for education.
No, it's so bad, and it's
someone who got low scores as
it really is.
What's up?
It is wild how like I don't know about you guys, but like a lot of my education was like tailored specifically towards getting the school to have good test scores on like standardized like state assessment testing. And I think this has been pretty widely seen as bad.
Yeah.
I certainly did not enjoy it when I was dealing with it.
I don't think anyone enjoyed all of that stress of being in a test room for hours without like food or water. Yeah. We weren't allowed to have water in my school.
Wait, what?
If we were doing like a big test, because they didn't want water to spill on like the test.
What, a 15-minute break?
Maybe
we
a
have
15-minute
of
break.
sorts and like get so.
It was like.
Can I say why I love standardized?
Yes, Alex. I would love to hear this bizarre
thing. This hot take.
This hot take.
So at my school, first off, I just didn't try. Like they did not.
It was already a good time.
Alex was too cool to try.
Well, I mean, with some of them, like they literally, like I don't know. For some, like they tell you, like, oh, this is gonna affect you so much, and you're like, oh boy, I better try. But with others, they were just like, yeah, like it's just for the state.
At least teachers are real with you.
Like specifically park testing.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You did not have to try in the park because they were pretty transparent that it's not gonna affect you.
Class like freaking out over park.
I remember the first year of park was terrifying.
What is that?
Like 3
I'm not a New Jersey resident.
Oh yeah, so this is for New Jersey Park. Okay, wait. So it used to be
NJ Ask.
NJ Ask was what you did from like 3rd grade to like forever, your whole life. No, I'm kidding. It used to be called NJ Ask, which is what we did. So you start in 3rd grade and you would do it every spring, I think.
Yeah.
And they would determine your classes for the next year.
Really?
Yeah, if you did bad enough, like I did bad enough one year that I was placed in a special class the next year. Apparently, according to the test, I was not doing well enough in English based on some math.
But But your regular, like
My regular grades were probably fine.
that would say otherwise.
Remember, I got like A's and B's my whole life. I don't remember.
What was your grade in 4th grade English?
Literally no idea. But you know what? In school, in high school, I went on to do like all like AP English classes because I loved English so much. I turned it around, and now I'm gonna be a writer for my career. So it's fine.
You showed that park
Doesn't
testing.
matter. But then, so yeah, it was NJ Ask, and then at some point
I got switched to Park.
they switched to Park, which is like PARCC. I still remember the
Yeah.
logo because it haunted my dreams. I can see it in my mind.
And then
I don't know if they still do Park.
Nope, it's illegal.
it's illegal.
I remember. I don't know if it was like the New Jersey government said no, not anymore. I remember that was the big thing in my junior year before everything shut down. They were like, no more park testing.
We didn't do
is that?
state testing in high school.
I did.
I did.
Am I like remember?
at
No,
some
we did like
point.
SAT stuff, but like I don't remember Park.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
SAT is
State
different.
testing.
Oh yeah, in
Yeah, that's a different
in
thing.
my school, my middle school and my high school, I used to just like, I would just do the park, and they would give us like, because I had an IEP, so they gave us extra time in my classroom, but I didn't need it because I wasn't trying. So I would finish like the whole entire like first half of the English in like probably like 30-45 minutes, and we would still have like an extra hour and a half or something like that.
Oh my
So I would just like,
chill.
I would bring like snacks and stuff, like,
Oh yeah.
and
We would make it like
chill.
an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The
I would just like
testing, yeah.
take, and I had one of my teachers, and she was like, "You sleep in my class, so just go to bed, Alan." And I was like, "Okay," and I just fell asleep, and everybody was doing their testing,
Oh my god.
and so it was just a time for like to enjoy like snacks, take a nap,
You just
talk to friends when it's over.
Around you stressing out.
You just reminded me of like a really funny story. Someone once told me of like their AP test. Like they started taking their AP. It was like a 3-hour history test,
Mhm.
and these are in high school. These aren't state tests. You choose to do these, unfortunately, but it can help you in college, basically.
No, yeah.
But like this girl told me she like started taking it, fell asleep for like literally most of the test, woke up, wrote one essay, and she didn't do well, but she was like, I just fell asleep for the entire
Oh my
test and no one woke me
God.
up.
I think I did that one of the days.
So funny to me. But anyways, we're gonna get a little move on the morning buzz, and we are going to hand it over to Aidan Ivers for a newscast.
Sure, guys. So, according to theguardian.com, as we mentioned earlier this morning, President Joe Biden said that the missile that killed 2 Polish citizens probably did not come from Russia, and turns out he was right, because it turned out to be an air missile accident from Ukraine into Poland. So that was a mishap on Ukraine's part. Hopefully that gets sorted out as soon as possible. And in statewide news, a unanimous vote from the state officials under the New Jersey Fish and Game Commission has paved the way to reactivate the black bear hunt in the Garden State. This comes just a week after Governor Phil Murphy reversed his campaign promise to eliminate the bear hunt entirely. And according to Montclair Local, the township of Montclair voted to hire the law firm Lindenberry, McCormick, Estabrook, and Cooper to further investigate the hostile work environment and gender discrimination lawsuit filed against township manager Timothy Stafford while he is on administrative leave. And as I said just an hour ago, it's pretty wet and it's pretty cold outside. And today we're going to have a high of 50 and a low of 30 with continued cloudy skies with wind gusts at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And tomorrow we're going to look at even a colder day with a high of 46 and a low of 27 with sunny skies, and into the weekend on Friday. You guys will know what's coming out Friday, right?
What's Friday?
New Nickelback album, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
I was like not prepared. For
Let's
what everyone
go.
would say, but definitely not
Nickelback.
that.
I love Chad Kroger, guys. I'm sorry. Actually, I don't apologize. I love him.
Love that for you.
So on Friday, we will have a high of 42 and a low of 24 with mostly cloudy skies. And on Saturday, it'll be a high of 39 and a low of 26 with those partially cloudy skies continuing to be here. And Sunday, which actually commemorates Mexican Revolution Day, will be a high of 39 and a low of 24 with continued mostly sunny skies. This has been your hour 2 newscast and weather forecast here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Back to you, Leslie.
Thank you, Aidan. I don't know what startled me more about your newscast was that you mentioned Nickelback having a new album, or that you said high of 39 degrees.
Yeah.
No. Both were equally startling.
Wait,
I don't know why I just wasn't expecting you to say like Nickelback has a new album. Like, I don't know.
It's Nickelback's new. It's a new album in 5 years. Our last album.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a minute, right?
2017, and then before that it was 2014. So there was a 3-year gap, and now it's 5 years. So
Right?
I thought they were out of style.
Yeah, I want to hear Nickelback.
They aren't, Leslie.
For some reason.
it's actually really popular still.
Not.
Yeah.
Aiden's
I
got some
mean-
feelings about
You should
this.
list a list of feelings that Aiden has.
I love Godzilla, and I love
Yep.
Nickelback.
Mhm.
Quite a combination.
Yeah.
When
Individual
Aiden,
has 2 feelings that we know.
when Aiden leaves, he just goes back to a room and Godzilla and Nickelback is blasting.
Yeah. Well, no.
So-
no,
so-
I don't do that. But
Aiden loves Nickelback. I love Taylor Swift. Jake likes philosophy books. Cass likes entertainment, and Alex likes sports. And speaking
Yeah.
of sports, what's going on in sports?
Sports. We got plenty of sports news today. In the NHL, the New Jersey Devils beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-1, making them this their 10th win in a row. So shout out them. And the New York Rangers will have to fight off the Kraken tomorrow when they face the Seattle Kraken at 7:30. For the NBA, the New York Knicks beat the Utah Jazz 118-111, and the Brooklyn Nets got crushed against the Sacramento Kings 153-121. In Montclair State sports news, the women's soccer team fell to the number 3 Christopher Newport 2-0. I'll say it like soccer terms in the second round of the NCAA tournament this Sunday. But congratulations to having a great season. And the Montclair State basketball team scored 55 in the first half of the points in their route to win 97-93. Sorry, to triumph over Ithaca College. That's it for my sportscast. I'm Alex Braun, and this has been Sports.
Sports. I always love saying it in a calm voice after you. I think it sounds really funny, like sports. But moving from sports to entertainment, Cass, what do you
Yes.
got for us today? I'm excited.
I got some stuff, and as you said, you love Taylor Swift. Guess what I have?
Tea.
Yes, some
Scandal.
tea. Scandal. Yep.
Exciting.
So, Taylor Swift pre-sale crashes Ticketmaster as fans scramble to buy concert tickets.
Or not
Ooh,
buy
I hope
them.
you guys mark your calendars because I think we talked about this like 2-3 weeks ago.
yeah.
Anyways, as Swifties waited in the virtual queues of thousands of people yesterday morning, eager to purchase tickets to the coveted Eras tour, they found out the process was not as swift as they hoped.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That pun.
Taylor Swift pre-sale tickets were released at 9:30 a.m. for those who had previously been granted a pre-sale code. However, fans quickly took to social media to report Ticketmaster's website had crashed. Down Detector logged thousands of Ticketmaster outage reports starting around at 9:30 a.m., which is literally the second it started, which continued into the afternoon. And Ticketmaster acknowledged the crash on Twitter. Those who did not face any website crashes were sitting in virtual queue waiting rooms of more than 2,000 fans trying to score tickets for the coveted tour, arguably the biggest of 2023 in the music industry as of right now. And this is Swift's first major concert tour in 5 years. The Eras Tour, which plans to encapsulate all of her musical eras, ranging from her first self-titled album to her newer works such as Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights, her newest addition to her discography. The U.S. leg of the tour begins March 17th and will cover 20 cities over the course of 52 days. Swift will be at MetLife Stadium from May 26th to the 28th, and the Lincoln Financial Field from May 12th to the 14th.
I didn't realize how bad this situation was until I went on social media because dare I even say this on air? I got tickets no problem.
Oh, wow.
And then saw after that people were waiting for hours and hours and got no tickets. The website crashed on them multiple times.
Mhm.
They were waiting in the queue for hours. Some people were like, I took off work to wait in the
my
queue.
gosh.
I like saw so many TikToks about this and so many comments. Someone was like, I had my husband pick up my kids from school because I didn't want to lose my
No.
spot in my computer, and I still didn't get tickets. I'm like, oh my God.
Dang.
And I didn't realize how big this was. Like, so many fans are disappointed in like Taylor and Ticketmaster.
Well, I have a
It's the whole
question.
thing. Yeah.
Is it sold out yet? Or not?
I think
would
the
assume.
date of May 26th for MetLife, I've heard it's sold out, but I don't know for sure. I know fellow Swiftie at the station, Holly Petrie, was in a situation like most fans where it crashed on her and she couldn't get tickets.
Hmm.
I don't know how with my MSU Wi-Fi that we know is notoriously not working, because I am a commuter, but I got my tickets at school because I had class right after. So like I had to do it at school. I don't even know what happened. I don't know why it didn't crash on me. I don't know why I'm the chosen one. I think I'm one of the only people who didn't have issues. I'm kind of feel bad for other fans, but I hope some reparations are made.
Well,
A lot of people are
don't-
disappointed.
Don't fall into the trap of people trying to persuade you to sell them those tickets.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. And the
No,
prices
no,
that people
no.
resell them at.
I mean,
Gotta
The people are reselling them for like insane prices.
I know.
And like I
think
I
they
just
were-
got what I could.
There
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
on Ticketmaster a show in Chicago, Illinois for Taylor Swift concert. One section, like right below the stage.
Yeah.
One ticket. One.
Yeah.
Just was selling for like $50,000.
Yeah,
$50,000.
that's pretty crazy.
Oh my god.
Somebody's gonna buy
Yeah.
that.
I know.
Somebody will. It can't be me. I bought my
Oh.
tickets at like what I would consider a very reasonable price to see a very big artist. Not gonna talk prices on air because
Yeah.
it's my personal business.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty reasonable. Am I all the way in the back, very, 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 very far from Taylor? Yes. But did I get a price that I wanted? Also, yes. So
I think anything is better than $50,000.
anything's
think,
better than those crazy resale tickets.
especially for like a concert, dude. Like,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but like your favorite artist, I don't care how big they are, but they're still just like a dude.
They're still a person.
They're still just a gal. And even if they're in like a stadium with a big thing, like I don't know, it's crazy because like even when you're like really up in front, they're still tiny.
Yeah.
Like
still
unless
just
you're
a
like
gal?
right up against the thing,
Unless-
which isn't
Never
gonna
been
be
that
fun
close.
because you're gonna be like,
Well, there might be cameras, Jake. Like there might be cameras.
well,
showing the
exactly,
big
but you
screen.
can see those from the back,
That's
Yeah.
true. You
Yeah.
can see like usually,
and
they
you
have,
can
like,
also
huge
see them on
screens.
YouTube
That is true
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's true.
anytime you want for free.
I guess what you
Um,
pay for when you're right by the stage is literally just like the chance to like have them like raise your hand as they walk
Yeah.
past. And
But
then
even that,
that's
like if you're
very
in the
expensive for
like,
that.
if you're in the
experience.
pit,
Yeah.
like there's a pretty like only like a few people are actually gonna be that close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like within the pit, let
Mhm.
alone like the entire stadium. So
Yeah.
like, and I don't know, it's overcrowding is like a thing and it's spooky and
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't like stadium shows.
I just thought of that moment in SpongeBob where they were, I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was somebody famous going to Goo Lagoon and they touched Pearl's flipper and she never
Oh,
washed
yeah.
it
I
again.
remember that.
Mhm.
And that's
my
what's gonna
God.
happen probably with somebody in the pit with Taylor Swift.
Oh,
If
yeah.
she touches them,
Couldn't be me.
they're gonna put a plastic bag on their hand when they shout.
Wow. That feels familiar. I had to do that when I broke my wrist.
Well,
I think it was-
sorry, Liz.
I helped with
Thanks,
that.
Jake, for that. No, it wasn't Jake's fault. It was 90% my fault.
Oh.
10% Jake's skateboard. I digress. Cass, any more entertainment news?
Yes. Today we're just dealing with a bunch of music people.
Mhm.
So moving on, Selena Gomez has been honored for her mental health advocacy work. So Selena Gomez has made no secret of her personal mental health struggles, as she's been an advocate for awareness and encouraging people to get the help that they need of their own. Earlier this year, she said, quote, "I hope by using my platform to share my own story, I can help others feel less alone," end quote. And on Monday, the Boston-based Rutherman Family Foundation honored Selena with its annual Morton E. Rutherman Award and Inclusion for drawing inspiration from her personal journey to help others. In response, Selena had said, mental health impacts all of us, and we all have a role to play in ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background, has access to mental health services.
Queen.
It's nice.
queen. Have
Yeah.
I
any
still
of you?
don't forgive her for 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, she did that.
She was a producer for that show.
I did not know
She's
that.
moved on.
Okay.
Because she now has this website called Wondermind, or this whole brand,
Mhm.
and like it is such a fantastic website for mental health. This is just my personal opinion,
Mm.
but it is like some like kind of like groundbreaking stuff in mental health. Talk about like mental health in like
Yeah.
a very like vague way, like, oh,
Yeah.
go to
Mhm.
therapy, it's okay, but like they get really into it,
Mm.
in like a good way. Anyways,
Never heard of this
interesting.
website. I
Yeah,
didn't know
I-
she was doing this.
follow them. Maybe might want to if you
If you
maybe
want to.
on they have an Instagram
If you
that-
might want
that
to,
I
maybe.
that I maybe follow because I maybe like it if you want to.
Maybe.
No, I'm just being silly. Anyways, continue, Cass.
But yeah. And then I guess like moving on to like other music stuff. Grammy nominations came out.
Sheesh.
Mm.
Yep. And so Beyonce is now officially tying with Jay-Z for the most Grammy nominations of all time. That's wild. So for next year's Grammys Awards, Beyonce has earned 9 nominations for her 7th album, Renaissance, including Record of the Year, Album of the Year, and Song of the Year. This brings her total nominations in her career so far to 88, putting her next to Jay-Z as the most nominated artist, who has also received 5 nominations this year for Rap Performance and Song of the Year. Some other nominations for Song of the Year includes All Too Well, the 10-minute version by Taylor Swift, Easy on Me by Adele, and As It Was by Harry Styles. As for Albums of the Year, some nominations include 30 by Adele, Special by Lizzo, Harry's House by Harry Styles, and Voyage by none other than ABBA.
Love
We
ABBA.
all missed ABBA.
Amazing.
Big ABBA supporter over here.
Yeah, Alex, you're an ABBA fan?
I love ABBA.
I mean,
Have you listened to
it's
the
hard
album?
not to love ABBA,
No, I-
honestly.
No, I didn't know there was a new album.
True fan over here.
Yeah, sounds like a fake fan, Alex. You
Mm.
didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know either. And I say I'm a fan of ABBA, so now I feel bad. But I'm going to listen to that soon. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break here on the Morning Buzz. We'll see you back in a few minutes.
You're listening to WMSC Upper Montclair.
Welcome back. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz, our weekday morning news show, our morning news show, 7 to 9 every weekday. Today is Wednesday, November 16th. I went to say October again. It is halfway through November. What is wrong with me? Anyways, I'm here with Jake Goetz,
Hi.
Castia Feria,
Howdy.
Aidan Ivers,
Good morning.
Alan, and Alex Braun.
What's up?
And our producer behind the scenes, Lara Zaccardi. Hi, Lara. I know you're in another room producing somewhere, but she says hi. She says hi in the chat.
We have text confirmation.
Yes, text confirmation that she's still awake and
Lara.
listening. Of course, she is. She always is. But we're gonna do a fun little segment that we like to do here on the Buzz that steal from Reddit. Am I in the wrong? So, disclaimer, all of these stories are not our personal experiences. These are questions and situations from users on Reddit, where for some reason people anonymously spill all of their secrets, and we use it for entertainment on the buzz because it's the internet and we can, and it's fun. So, our first headline: am I in the wrong for telling my wife that she can stay home this Thanksgiving? Let's hear
awesome.
let's hear where this is going. My wife.
Yeah,
I would love to
Thanksgiving,
know.
Last week's thing. Anyways,
I would love to know. Anyway, okay, so this Redditor says, my wife is an A+ picky eater.
What does that mean?
I was just gonna say that. It's bothersome to a certain degree, but on holidays, basically when the mess begins. Yeah, that's English. She used to eat certain meals, and mom would take it personally. I guess his mom, which results in a series of arguments between them. Oh God. As a compromise this year, I don't think this is a compromise. Never mind. I jumped to a conclusion. As a compromise this year, my wife offered to bring her own food to Thanksgiving dinner. I was stunned. I asked if she thought this through, and she looked at me confused. I told her about how weird it'd be for her to bring her own food, especially when she wouldn't be sharing it with anyone else, and told her to think about how mom will react. She'd get very offended and upset. My wife said that that's not her problem, and that she was just trying to make it work by bringing her own meal. I told her again that mom might not like it, nor even allowed it. She blew up at me asking if I want her to either eat food she doesn't like or go hungry. I suggested she give my mom's food a chance, but she said it wasn't about my mom's cooking. She just doesn't like certain foods. We had an argument. I ended up telling her she could stay home this Thanksgiving and have whatever meals she likes. She got quiet, then lashed out on me, calling me insensitive and negative to say this to her. I repeatedly asked her to calm down, but she wouldn't stop ranting about how I was basically willing to exclude her from a major event. She started cold shouldering me about it, while at the same time guilting me, saying I'm treating her poorly after she offered the quote unquote perfect compromise update. So sometimes people on Reddit will share a story, get lots of comments, and then they share an update. Here's this Redditor's update. And so my wife has decided to go spend Thanksgiving with her family, who, by the way, lives hours away. So this means unnecessary travel expenses. They sound a lot nicer than you anyways. Instead, it basically ditched me for a whole week. Are you mad? He says, y'all happy now? Though I appreciate some insightful comments on this situation, some others are not so much, especially with those assumptions claiming that my wife has allergies. She does not. Yeah, people on the internet make assumptions. But I'm just gonna cut it off from there. He's getting a little defensive.
Yeah.
But this is hilarious.
oh my God.
This is very funny.
I thought like when you get married to someone, you're like, you stick by each other,
You
but you
like
just
them.
want her not to go to Thanksgiving because your mom has issues.
No,
Wait,
she has issues with his mom's cooking.
I guess that's like, well, apparently it's not even like the cooking. It's just like the inclusion of certain foods, exclusion of others.
Yeah.
Couldn't she just be like, hey, can we get some pasta or something in here? Something that I like.
She was willing to make
just
and bring
some
her own food.
Basic communication. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the stuff we have on Thanksgiving isn't really year-round stuff. Like when you think about the Thanksgiving meal that you have,
Yeah,
it's meant for that day. It's not really like an everyday or every week.
yeah.
And I mean, I
Yeah.
can get not liking it.
Yeah,
I'll say
definitely.
like turkey's mid.
I don't like
dry
turkey.
sometimes depending on how it's cooked.
It's always dry, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of turkeys your guess.
I don't know. Maybe I'm calling out my family right now, but like I feel like every time I've had turkey, it's just like sand. Like I don't know.
Sandpaper.
You gotta put gravy on it, Jake.
I mean, no, that's what I do. I drench, but it's like if if it's just like
You would drench her, Jake?
yo, if it's bro, if it's just a gravy vehicle, then I'll have mashed potatoes. Like I'd rather be eating mashed potatoes.
Okay.
But like it wasn't even. It's just she offered. I actually do
Yeah.
think she offered a very nice compromise. And then when he was
Okay.
like, okay, since you're gonna be eating different food. You can't go at
You
all.
can't
And then he
share
was
it.
mad that she wanted to spend time with her own family.
Yeah.
The way he was acting is not an appropriate word for me to say on air what I'm personally
Okay.
thinking right now.
I have
You know.
to say, I guess I'm curious. This is where we might have an interesting discussion, because I do think that like saying like, can I just show up to a Thanksgiving dinner and bring my own food and eat my own food? That is kind of weird.
Yeah, I
Like
see it
unless there's some
opposite,
sort of
yes.
allergy or
Yeah.
like pretty strict dietary restriction there, like I don't like that's pretty odd.
It is weird. I mean, I've had people do that in my family with dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, I think someone in my family, they brought like a different food because they were on like a very specific
Yeah.
diet.
And that's
And
cool.
my cousin has like celiac, so he always has his own
Right.
little food because he can't eat our food because it will kill him.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But,
I
like,
mean,
and also couldn't she have just made her own dish and be like, hey, this is something I brought for everyone, but it's also the only
been
thing
a
I
good
eat."
compromise.
Like
Yeah.
it's like just
too.
do it. Like
But completely excluding her is so mean.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about family and being grateful.
And he said that she went to go with her family, which is unnecessary travel expenses.
Does that mean
everybody's traveling regardless though?
Yeah,
exactly?
Thanksgiving.
And also, does that mean like they never go see her family?
that's what I was thinking.
Like, does he just gatekeep her from her own family? It's just
Gatekeeping their own family. That's the sentence.
like, what's wrong with seeing your own family? I mean, like, if your husband's being a little mean,
yeah.
I would just leave also. So I have no problem with it.
I feel like
This
these
is
guys are just like miserable. And
They
like,
sound miserable.
there's no like there's no real problem here. They're just miserable people being
Mhm.
miserable.
So who would we say is in the wrong?
The guy.
The guy
Probably. Yeah.
I think
I'm gonna say everyone.
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 I think it's just like just get out of there.
Yep.
If you're staying there, you're in the wrong.
Yeah. Reddit did determine that the man who wrote this is in the wrong.
In the wrong.
Can't say I disagree. This is a
No.
whole mess. Again, it's the holidays. You should always be nice to your spouse and your family, but
Yeah.
especially around the holidays. Come on, guys. I mean, it's gratitude,
Mhm.
good vibes, cute hot cocoa, Christmas lights season. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
okay. Maybe it's not like holiday Christmas season yet, but
Well,
we're getting there.
kind of. Yeah. yeah.
We're getting. I don't think it's too early.
No, it's not,
Anyways, we have another. Am I in the wrong, Jake?
Yeah. Am I in the wrong, Jake? Yes, you are, Leslie.
What I do?
Okay, so am I in the wrong? Am I in the wrong for letting my mother have a copy of the key to our new home despite my wife's objection? I, 34 male, recently bought, I'm so sorry, a one-story house. Note that it was purchased solely by me. My wife did not help save for it. I started saving for it before I even met her. And it's in my name. When my parents threw us a party for this happy occasion, Mom asked for a copy of the key in case of an emergency. I let her have it, which made my wife upset. She said she didn't say anything at the time, but she waited until we were alone and started arguing with me, saying I shouldn't let my mom have a copy of the key. I said, why? Since my mom is known to respect my privacy and is a very trusted member of the family. She said that she does not feel comfortable with the idea of someone else who's not a resident to have a copy of the key. She also brought up how my mother didn't pay a penny towards the house, so this should disqualify her from getting the key. I said that it was not a big deal, but she kept persisting, saying I need to take the key back. Quite frankly, this had me fuming. I pointed out that I'm the one who bought the house, and it's my decision to decide who gets to have a copy of the key. End of story. She screamed at me, saying that technically she did contribute to the house savings back when she used to pay for our rent and daily expenses while I saved money. I told her that she was acting as if I put my mom's name on the title, which is ridiculous. She said that I have no respect for her opinions and keep undermining her input. We've been going back and forth on it since then. She's now, quote unquote, letting me know that if I don't take the key back, then she'll do it herself. I think she's being irrational and unreasonable, acting like that over a copy of the house key. Decision I made could save us in case of emergency, but she kept downplaying it. Note, I think it's crucial to mention that there's no conflict between my mother and my wife. They're on near perfect terms, right? I thought that I already established that. Okay.
This is so. This has so many layers to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, I mean, okay, so
I think it's funny. I like this dude is like, I did it all by myself. I saved up all this money.
before
And
I
he
even
just
met her.
casually drops that like this girl paid his rent.
And other expenses.
For,
while you're
yeah,
saving
and
up
like
for the house.
presumably like I guess other expenses could mean like,
like,
food
given
and stuff.
A house is very expensive to save up for, but like rent is not cheap either.
Yeah.
So wait, when he was saving money for the house, she was paying the rent
That's
and
what he
everything
made it sound like.
else.
Yeah, that's what she.
I
he-
thought they were.
That sounds
sharing
like
rent.
equal partnership to
At least-
me.
Oh, is that what they meant?
No, like, look, it says back when
Yeah.
she used to pay for our rent and daily expenses while I saved money. So
That's
that
what it
sounds
was.
like he
Yeah.
didn't contribute during a different time, and then
Yeah.
he paid for the house. This makes literally no sense financially. Why wouldn't you just
Yeah.
split everything?
But he does. I think the guy makes a good point though in saying, like, giving the key to his mom in case something bad happens.
Yeah, that I agree with.
She'll have like a easy way in to say whatever's going on.
I think it's pretty smart to like have like a close family member or
Yeah.
friend
Mhm.
physically close by to have a physical key of your home
Yeah.
in case maybe you lock yourself out or whatever. I always thought that was like a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Is that not normal?
No,
Mm.
we do that in my
I mean,
family.
Yeah?
I guess nobody in my family lives close to me, so I never done that.
Oh, it's different, yeah.
There's times where what's it, me, like my mom and like my sister and I come home like, and then we're locked out of the house because we forgot the key, and now we have to wait for her dad to like come back from
Yeah.
work. So I guess it is smart in that
Chaos.
sense.
Yeah. This is pretty kind of, I guess it could be seen as kind of sus on the wife's part.
I just don't. Yeah,
Since-
like what is she?
What are you
What are you hiding?
Was
in
this
that
something that they
house?
talked before, or like, because that was communication again.
Oh, communication's a very very
I mean,
rough thing on Reddit that people haven't really heard of. If they're
is
having
it a
issues.
communication thing?
A little bit. I feel like they're not really. I mean, okay.
If it wasn't talked about before, I feel like if like he gave the mom the key, like all of a sudden
I mean, he's not listening to her reasons, but she's not listening to his. They're not meeting each other halfway.
No.
Like if maybe like he really wants someone to have a key for that security emergency thing, but she's not comfortable with maybe his mom. Maybe they can decide on a mutual friend that they both
Yeah.
have. And then so I don't know, but like I don't know. But like the thing that's really like throwing me off here is like he's trying to hold it over his wife that he like paid for the house.
yeah.
If you're married to someone, it's like
It's compromise.
it's compromise, and also it's like you're in it together. Like why would you like hold that over somebody to make them
Yeah.
feel bad?
Mhm.
Especially if that's how
very
it was
manipulative.
when
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Especially if that's how it was when they were in that apartment. And it was like, okay, now we're a team, but
Mhm.
yeah.
now that I paid for it, it's like,
Oh, it's like, oh, I make all the decisions. Like, should one person make all the decisions in any marriage or partnership? Most would say no.
Yeah.
So that's kind of wrong. Anyways,
I'm not gonna lie, when he said that it's my decision to decide who gets a copy of the key. Not, I thought I was gonna take a left turn to like I took the key away from my wife.
imagine
Hmm.
that'd be kind of
honestly,
that
it
would be
seems like-
That
bad.
would be
It
bad.
seems like it's
It seems like
Possible.
Seems like it. Anyways, who do we think is in the wrong before I reveal what Reddit said?
I think the dude's in the wrong.
the
for
guy, the
most
person
part.
who wrote it.
I
Is that what
mean,
you're saying?
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
I guess. I mean, I guess there is no like real reason like for the wife to not want the mom to be in the house, but also you don't really need a reason. Like if you
Mhm.
feel uncomfortable, I feel like
Gotta talk about it.
yeah, you have to address that, and the dude's not doing that.
I think they're both wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I
feel like that,
can't
yeah.
pick any one person.
No.
They're both wrong for different reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like
Both wrong.
y'all need to figure it out.
Well, everybody's in the wrong.
Everybody's in the wrong.
It's a party.
Reddit did say that the person who posted it was in the wrong. I feel like you can say he's in the wrong, but you also have to acknowledge like the wife is also like
Yeah.
she's a little it's a little wild.
Mhm.
Anyways, we're gonna take a quick break on the Morning Buzz. We'll be right back in a few minutes.
Looking for the real MSU Red Hawk?
Welcome back. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz. Yeah. I'm Leslie Gallagher, joined by Jake Goetz.
Hi.
Alex Braun.
Why is that?
Cassie Faria.
Howdy.
And Aidan Ivers.
Hello.
And I'm gonna hand it over to Jake, and we're gonna talk about some funny little entertainment news, I guess.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Funny, silly, quirky little news.
Super.
So Mariah Carey, you might know her, as a famous trademark bully, loses bid to be the Queen of Christmas. Could you imagine a judge saying, "No, Mariah Carey, you can't be the Queen of Christmas"? All she wanted for Christmas was a trademark, but the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office on Tuesday denied singer Mariah Carey's attempt to trademark the title Queen of Christmas.
I'm sorry.
The movies mean Christmas. Oh, the moves. I apologize. I mean, Christmas has come early for holiday songwriter Elizabeth Chan, who successfully blocked Carey from trademarking the title and using it in everything from music to perfume and mugs. In its decision, the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board noted Carey's company, Lotion LLC. That's the name of her company, Lotion.
Lotion.
But yeah, that company had not filed a response in Chan's opposition. The paperwork are due in September. Chan refers to herself as the Queen of Christmas on her website. Meanwhile, Mariah Carey filed the trademark application in March of 2021. Attorney Louis Topero, who represents Chan, told media outlets that this was a classic case of trademark bullying. According to the Daily Mail, Chan said, quote, "Christmas is a season of giving, not the season of taking. And it's wrong for an individual to attempt to own and monopolize a nickname like Queen of Christmas for the purpose of abject materialism. My goal in taking on this fight was to stand up to trademark bullying, not just to protect myself, but also to protect the future queens of Christmas."
What was that sentence?
I was
Protect future queens
Yeah,
of Christmas.
facts. Do you know
This is
how
so
many one day Mariah Carey, like if we can believe it, one day Mariah Carey won't be here and there will be other queens of Christmas,
I never would have even thought of that.
Well,
right?
You know.
I think we can all agree on who the long-lasting official Queen of Christmas really is. Mrs. Claus.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Can't forget about her.
Of
Okay,
course.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry to tell you this.
Jake.
Okay, who's
Um,
gonna tell him?
I'm gonna tell him.
guys. It's the
Uh,
season. I'm sorry. The entire time Jake was reading this, I was just laughing because this is so silly to me.
well, I mean, Leslie, when Mariah Carey, came out of the ice pack that she was in, when she
You
was,
make this joke every
what came with her was a lawsuit.
a lawsuit.
don't
I'm
get
just
it,
like
but-
picturing her sitting on her computer filling out a trademark
Queen
application.
of Christmas.
Yeah.
And like, how would you even take yourself seriously? That's like
Um,
so funny to me.
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, trademark bullying is really bad.
Mhm.
I hate that. Like, honestly, like I like the song,
Yeah.
All I
Yeah.
Want for Christmas Is You. It's my jam. A lot of haters out there and I fight against them.
I like
but-
the song too.
But this
It
move by Mariah is indefensible.
It's
I will
just
not
funny.
do it.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's just a song. And like, is it on repeat all the time around the holidays?
Yeah.
Yes, but also it's like it's everybody's holiday.
Yeah.
It's not just you, Mariah. Come on, girl.
No,
You took it too far, Mariah.
You took it too far.
You
You were
took
cool,
it-
now you're not cool.
Literally, I can't believe her company's lotion.
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 Hey, it's
That's
quick.
as creative as she
straight to
can
the
get.
point.
All of her creativity is gone after
Yeah,
making All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's
Well, I
gone.
think Miss Chan's lawyer is right. Christmas is not the season of taking. It's the season of being jolly.
It's the season of
I
giving.
think Chris
Yeah.
would be upset.
Give.
And it's not the time to be thinking about, how can I make myself even more profitable with all the
Yeah.
success I've had over the last decade.
You're right. That's exactly it.
Hmm.
But we're gonna move on to some other entertainment news. This excites me personally. I don't know who's giggling at me.
Me.
Who you giggling? Can hear you. I'm in the room, but I can hear you. So according to Variety.com, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are committed to making a Freaky Friday sequel, and Disney is, quote, interested. I love how everything in this headline is like just quoted. I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
Curtis said that she and Lohan discussed their possible big screen reunion last Sunday. Curtis said, quote, I'm 64 in a week. Lindsay is 36, and a sequel lends itself so beautifully. We're both committed to it, and it's not ours to make, it's Disney's to make. And I think they're interested in, and we're talking. Considering how Curtis brought back the Halloween franchise, are they already considering multiple installments of Freaky Friday films? According to Curtis, they're a ways away. What? Released in 2003, Freaky Friday is based on Mary Rogers' 1972 novel of the same name. Curtis and Lohan starred as mother and daughter whose bodies are switched. Curtis earned a Golden Globe nomination for her role. I've always really liked this movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
Oh.
It's my personal opinion. I love it. It's so entertaining. They switch bodies. They see how the other person they literally walk in each other's shoes, and then by the end of it, they understand each other a lot better. It's very moving. It makes me cry. I would love a sequel. This sounds so fun. Imagine them being switched and now they're older. That sounds great.
I have heard of that same scenario in other series, Leslie, of people
Yeah, I
switching
I think
bodies,
that's a
switching brains.
common trope.
It is a
Yeah.
common
Yeah.
trope, but like Freaky Friday, like they switch on a Friday, and that's what makes it freaky.
That's what makes it stand out.
That's what makes it stand out, because it happens on a Friday.
So would the movie just be an adult just becoming an older adult?
Yeah.
I mean, the struggles of being like 30 are different than being 50.
Hmm.
Like 30, I don't know. I'll let Disney decide what they're gonna write. But I think it would be really cool. Or maybe like it's like Lindsay Lohan and then like her daughter, who's now a
That would make
teenager.
sense.
Then they switch, and then Jamie Lee Curtis is there as like the grandma, and she's just like, "Yo, this happened when you were a kid." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." You know, like that'd be funny.
How do you forget
You
like
gotta
that?
forget.
How do you forget switching their bodies?
Like, it's busy. You might forget you switched bodies with someone.
She blocked that out from her memory.
I would. It sounds kind of traumatic. But anyway, what do you guys think? Have you guys seen Freaky Friday?
I've seen
Long time.
yeah, long. I don't remember it too well.
It might be a time for a cozy rewatch.
maybe.
Mm.
But
It's a fun movie. I watch it every once in a while. Don't know why. It just gives me serotonin, you know.
I'm not interested in this, to be honest.
You're not interested in a
No
sequel?
No one asked for it.
I'm asking
I
for
haven't been looking for it. We're like,
I feel
like
Love a
Yeah.
good sequel.
if it's done right, fine. But I don't know how it would be done right.
I
don't
think
remember
with the two
original
of
so
them in
well.
it can't. How bad could it be?
But it's just,
right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm happy that both of the original people are like interested in doing it again instead of them trying to do a sequel.
I don't
with-
think they would do sequel without them, honestly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no, that'd be tough.
I just
First
don't-
one was made in 2003. It's like 2022.
Oh wow.
Or you could get like a little baby for Lindsay Lohan to,
Aw.
I guess,
Mm.
have. I don't know.
I mean, I'm happy Lindsay Lohan is returning to the screen, you know,
Mhm.
in general.
Mm.
She, you know, just also a new Christmas movie came out starring Lindsay Lohan.
I
so
saw that. Well, I
you
didn't
know.
see it. I saw that she was in something.
You saw that she was in something. I figured that's what you meant. Anyways, we're gonna move on to another story. Our producer Lara Zaccardi likes to call these quirky, like other girl stories. I feel like we never mention that, but it's always there. Here's a fun headline. Lost dog hands itself in at Loughborough police station. According to BBC.com, a lost dog has been reunited with its owners after walking into a police station. Rosie sought help from officers after being scared by fireworks. Oh my God. CCTV footage from Loughborough police station captured the moment the border collie arrived and took a seat in the waiting room. Oh my God. The police staff fetched some water and gave her a fuss before calling the number on her ID tag. Rosie's owner, Steve and Julie Harper, said the 10-year-old rescue dog ran away. It happened while Mr. Harper, 68, was walking her and their other dog, Laser. Sorry, that's a cool name. At Southfields Parks in the town. Mrs. Harper said, quote, she went and stood with her dad, which she does when she's nervous, and then she skedaddled when the fireworks went off, end quote, said Mrs. Harper, again, 61. She pushed herself through a hedge and handed herself into the police station. The police station is right next to the park. She said, quote, I was so pleased and so happy she was safe and so proud of her that she was clever enough to find her way to the police station. The police said, quote, thankfully, she was wearing a collar, and so a lead was available to contact Rosie's owner, who was delighted she had been found safe and well. So I'm sorry, that is so cute. Your dog found its way.
I saw the video of the dog walking in. It was like so calm. It walked in and looked around and like it went to go sit by a seat.
I love how it just went into the waiting room.
Yeah.
Like, what a smart dog. Also, I mean, like, maybe the dog was just following like a scent or something.
Yeah.
But like, that's so cute.
They have a great sense of awareness.
Yeah.
It seems like, and they know how to use their brains.
Yeah.
Use their dog brains.
Yeah, they're tiny little
Are we dissing dogs?
steam brains. I mean, they're small. There's
Their brains are statistically, physically smaller than
Can I hold
humans.
my hand? That's
probably.
Maybe.
I mean, you could
depends
hold.
on the size.
you could
Maybe
hold
like a
it.
chihuahua.
One thing for sure,
Like a
Cass,
chihuahua.
my dog Peach would never allow you to pick her up because she doesn't like being picked up.
I mean, if you
does
pick
not
up,
like
I'm not gonna say.
Doesn't matter who it is,
Mm-hmm.
She's very bossy.
I was just watching the video footage of this dog walking into the police station. Good thing they had automatic doors. Imagine if
No,
had to open the door with a handle.
Mm-hmm.
dog just scratches at it.
I don't think it would be that far-fetched for dogs to open that kind of door as well. But it's a good thing.
Far-fetched.
Hey.
Oh.
It is
Stop.
a good thing. It is a good thing that is.
You're in the wrong.
Anyway, well, Jake, if I'm in the wrong, then can you read our next story?
I guess I could. Okay. Prosecutor defeats Chewbacca defense in an actual federal court case. There are many questions. In a case of real life, not quite imitating art, a prosecutor who compared a defense attorney's closing arguments to the Chewbacca defense was able to win at a trial. Although the prosecutor made an, quote, improper remark by invoking the defense from South Park, a federal appellate court ruled last week that he otherwise did not engage in prosecutorial misconduct. The case also appears to be the first time that a federal court decision has alluded to the Chewbacca defense. Now synonymous with making absurd non sequiturs, the Chewbacca defense dates back to the 1998 episode of South Park entitled Chef Aid, where a parody of legendary lawyer Johnny Cochran defends his clients by talking about how Chewbacca, an 8-foot-tall Wookiee, quote, lives on the planet Endor. Fact check, he does not live in the planet Endor in the Star Wars lore. This is incorrect. South Park, as always, spreading misinformation. But outside of South Park, the defense is not quite as successful. Unlike Chewbacca, the case that led to last week's ruling did not begin on planet. I don't know what planet it is, but in Jacksonville, Florida. Paul Birkensmoys owned and operated a tax preparer business and was indicted on federal tax fraud charges.
Were your questions answered, Jake? I don't know if mine were.
Yeah.
So I know about the Chewbacca defense because I like watched a lot of legal things on YouTube, and also I watched South Park.
Nice.
So it was what it said. It was an episode in 1998, and then after that, it was like actually adapted into law, where like if somebody's like rambling and making things up just to like confuse the jury,
Yeah.
then they call it like a Chewbacca defense.
Because it's like actually Chewbacca, because all Chewbacca says is so it's like you're just making noise to
Wow.
confuse people.
That actually makes sense.
Like Chewbacca.
That name.
It does, yeah.
I feel like there's a better way to like, do we really have to call it that?
Yeah.
I like
Use the
it.
word like nonsensical argument or something like that.
But Chewbacca defense is so much more clever.
You just call it a non sequitur.
It's actually a lawsuit, Leslie, because it's trademarked.
Oh.
Because of Chewbacca, because it's from Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm
trademarking
familiar.
the Chewbacca defense, the Queen of Christmas. Trademarking all of it. No
Nope.
human idea will not be owned by me. This sounds great. This sounds like a great world that I'd want to live in.
Oh yeah. Well, man, I don't even know how to
How do you
transition
go
to
from
that.
there?
I don't know how to transition to this next story, so I'll just say it. Florida man busted for faking Irish nationality to commit fraud. I personally hurt by that.
Me
Yeah.
too, Leslie.
I mean, my last name is Gallagher, so the hurts. No, I'm kidding. Florida man has been arrested after committing multiple fraudulent transactions while pretending to be an Irish national. According to investigators, 55-year-old Daryl Gary Bohilk, don't know how to say that, I'm sorry, of Washington County is facing multiple charges for using the
Pseudonym.
Thank you. I always forget how to say that word too. Pseudonym Declan Quinn to commit fraud in February. The local station NBC2 reports, quote, following an investigation, agents found that Quinn had won the position of HOA Board of Directors president at his Washington County neighborhood and used his standing in his community to obtain a $17,000 loan fraudulently. The fake name was even used to sign a notarized promissory note stating he would repay the loan, which he failed to do so, end quote. Investigators were able to link Declan Quinn to Bullock. He was later revealed to be convicted felon out of Wisconsin. Prosecutors said Bullock had posed as an Irish immigrant to neighbors while participating in business deals. He would also claim to be a member of the Irish Army. It was revealed that Bullock and fictitious Irish passport as his identification while pawning over $1,000 worth of items at a store in Bay County. He faces years of prison if convicted. Oh my God.
The lengths we will go to try to get money. Changing their own names.
The lengths Florida men. I guess Wisconsin men. So I'm confused. Is he he's not Irish. He's definitely not Irish. It says Florida man, but it says that he
from Wisconsin.
Is from Wisconsin. Well, he said he was a convicted felon out of Wisconsin.
I guess he's from Florida.
I don't
Maybe
understand.
He did this in Florida.
Maybe he's from Wisconsin, moved to Florida, and then this all happened in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It all went down in Florida.
Maybe.
Of course it
It
is.
all went.
Or maybe he. I
That's a
don't know.
song right there. It all went down in Florida.
Yeah.
It all went down to Georgia. We have another Florida man story. Oh gosh. Do we dare?
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this again? They did it again. Florida man arrested after stealing 85 pounds of shrimp and a GPS unit. A 50. I could have sworn that like when I was on
Tuesday bus.
Yeah, with Kyle, we covered a story just like
I remember
this.
that too, Jake. Remember that too.
A 52-year-old Florida man was arrested Sunday for stealing a GPS unit. Why did they focus on that? Like, I don't care. Like, okay, cool. GPS, like 85 pounds of shrimp, among other items. Oh, so there's more. It's just like the tip of it. Okay, so Felipe Fonseca, 52 of Stock Island, was charged with burglary, larceny, possession of burglary tools, and damage to property. According to investigators, the owner contacted the Monroe County Sheriff's Office at approximately 10 a.m. after finding the lock to a storage facility on Fifth Avenue had been broken off. A Garmin GPS unit, approximately 85 pounds of shrimp, a trim tilt unit for a outboard engine, and a air pump were stolen. What an odd arrangement of things to steal. Just grab an air pump. Fonseca was found shortly after and taken to Monroe County Jail and booked on a $20,000 bond. Fonseca is no stranger to the sheriff's office. Dating back to 2003, he was racked up with multiple charges, including a DUI, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, theft, and battery, even crimes against the elderly.
Oh no.
The law firm Norton Rose Fulbright filed a fraudulent inducement lawsuit in federal court in Texas earlier this year.
I'm still curious about the shrimp. Like, why 85 pounds? Do you plan on eating it, selling it? Like, I wanted to know.
Make a car out of the shrimp or something. Like,
Is there a black market for shrimp? Oh, no.
You must really like shrimp. I would rather steal 85 pounds of anything else because that would smell like a lot.
Yeah, and stealing all that stuff makes you really shellfish.
Alex,
I mean, I'll make other people shellfish of you, right?
Seafood.
are you trying to make like they're jealous?
No,
Is
they're
it-
shellfish.
They're
They're being selfish.
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 No, I meant Jake's joke. He was like, they're
Oh.
selfish of you.
I don't know why
You
my
mean
brain
like
went
jealous
that
because
way.
you have shrimp and they don't,
Yeah,
but you stole
that's
it.
how that's what I thought
85.
you meant. I didn't think of selfish.
Selfish, shellfish.
Shellfish.
Now I'm
It'll
confused.
make you shellfish.
Anyways,
I guess, yeah.
you're listening to the Morning Buzz here on 90.3 WC. I'm Montclair. We are out of time.
What
And
an unceremonious, I think.
as always, don't steal 85 pounds of shrimp. And we hope you have
Unless you want to.
if you want to.
unless you want to. Wait, but like that's a crime.
You have free will. Yeah.
And have a good day.
Right.
9.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair.
I